City, 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 City. Newly crowned Premier League champions today. How are we all? Hope we're having a decent weekend so far. First clash of the day, Spurs v Brentford at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is literally kicking off in about half an hour's time. Let's go through the this week's festivities pertaining to the Premier League, of course. So we will start last week at Ellen Road, which was the early kickoff. That was between Leeds United and Newcastle United. So I had called a Newcastle win for this, but I knew that it would be a little bit difficult because Sam Allardyce is obviously there. Obviously defensive tactician, very, very good at what he does there. So that ended up being a 2-2 draw, with Leeds ended up being down to 10 men as well. Good game. Really, really good game. Leeds United have a little bit of a chance to stay up. I'm not sure they're going to take it. I've got a hunch that Everton might do it now. I think I've succumbed to the fact that Leicester might be gone, actually. But as it stands at the moment, I've got Leeds, Leicester and Southampton. Southampton already gone, but Leeds and Leicester will be joining them, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I like Leeds and I like both Leicester as well. But I do see Forest and Everton staying up just because of the running that they've got. And I do see, obviously, Forest doing their madness later as well. Moving on to Southampton versus Fulham last week. This was the game that pretty much cemented Southampton's relegation. Didn't see the game, but it was pretty obvious Mitrovic was going to get on the score sheet. Southampton have been shocking all season. I mean, we played them first game of this season and beat them 4-1 quite comprehensively. And they haven't really recovered since that moment, to be quite honest. So they go down. They'll probably lose a couple of their sort of main hitters. I'm talking sort of James Ward-Prowse. They'll probably lose Bazunu as well. Caleta-Car will probably go. Lavia will definitely be gone, I think. So they've got a few neat and tidy players within that lineup, that squad. El Yanusi's quite useful as well, I think. I think they've got a bit of a rebuild for next season. I think I saw that at the moment they were 8-1 to come back up, to bounce straight back up to the Premier League. As for Fulham, fantastic season for them, securing top 10. Also, really, really good. They'll look to build on that as well. Marcus Silva has really got a decent side there. Brilliant season from Fulham. We'll go to Stamford Bridge next. So this is one of my clubs that I said would stay up for the season, and that's Nottingham Forest. To my understanding, Nottingham Forest are actually, 4 points off Chelsea? Something on the lines of maybe 6. But 2-2, 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. I think Chelsea are literally just down tools. They're going to wait for the summer. Obviously, Pochettino's coming now. He'll look to sort out that squad. He's got the temperament to do it. I think he'll be a success at Chelsea. Not mad at him for taking the job. He's basically just going to get whatever he wants at Chelsea that we couldn't give him. And he can't be begrudged for that. As for Nottingham Forest, like I said before, I do see them staying up. I think they'll beat Arsenal today because they've got more to play for. They're at home. It's an evening game. I just see Nottingham Forest turning Arsenal over. And it's not down to, obviously, bias, because I hate Arsenal. I cannot stand them. But I just think that Forest have a bit more to lose than Arsenal do at this moment in time, because Arsenal have nothing to play for, quite literally, as I stated before. We'll go to Villa Park next. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 1. There's not much we can really say about that, to be quite honest with you. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Aston Villa were 2 or 3, I think it was 2-3 games without a win. And then obviously, because we love to give to charity, we decided to turn up to Villa Park and basically just be like, here, take what you want. All the riches are yours and we'll cover our eyes. That's basically what happened. We got absolutely peppered in that first half. Played a little bit better in the second, but again, this has been the theme of the whole season. 2-1 doesn't flatter, Villa at all. I think it should have been more, to be quite honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had our chances as well, but at that point, we didn't deserve to win the game because obviously we didn't do enough. So Vela are right behind us now with regards to the Europa places and obviously the Europa Conference League as well. I saw X the other day say he doesn't want the Europa Conference League. I don't really want it either, but to see what West Ham are doing in this season's competition, they're in the final against Fiorentina, very, very beatable side. That could be a European trophy in the cabinet. So I don't mind that if we're in the Europa Conference League, to be quite honest, because it gives us a chance to, as bad as we are, try to pick something up. Season's over for us as far as I'm concerned anyway. And I do think we'll beat Brentford in this game coming up, because obviously no Ivan Toney. That's a massive, massive, massive boost for us, because he's a massive part of how they play. But I'll get into that a little bit later on. Manchester United versus Wolverhampton, bit of a formality result, that one, from Old Trafford. United obviously without Rashford and Martinez, but they looked pretty comfortable from what I saw. I think Wolves had a couple of chances, but Man United were not under any sort of duress with regards to the results sort of going their way. They've got a tough one this weekend, though, I think, and obviously we'll get into that a little bit later on. Wolverhampton obviously safe in the Premier League as well. Not really much to add onto them. They've got nothing to play for, so they're just going to peter out at the moment and sit where they are, which I believe is now 13th. Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth, and again, another two clubs that are safe. Not really much to say about them. Eze on the score sheet again, cooking. He's had a really, really good second half of the season. Iberi Eze, him and Elise, ballers. I'll take them in a heartbeat, to be quite honest. I think they suit quite nicely with us. Yeah, not much to say on that one either. Again, another game I didn't really see, but according to the stats, Crystal Palace were all over them. Roy Hodgson has gone in there and he's obviously done his thing. Palace safe, Bournemouth safe. Again, two clubs, nothing to play for, will be in the Premier League next season. Manchester City went to Goodison Park last week, and everyone was pretty much saying that Everton were going to be the club that Manchester City slip up against. Slip up where? There is nothing about the Everton side that told me that they were going to turn Manchester City over with the form City are in at the minute. City can play their B side at the moment and still slap you 5-0. That's how good that City team is. And they didn't even start Kevin De Bruyne as well. They rested a couple of players. Grealish, I believe, was on the bench as well. Gundogan is some player. He is some player. So good at what he does. And then you can call on the likes of a Phil Foden or a Riyad Mahrez from the bench. That squad is stupidly stacked. Man City ended up running out 3-0 winners. Erling Haaland on the score sheet again. Gundogan with a brace. And this is what's the reason why they're on the brink of winning the title at the moment now. Because of that result. And another result, which I'll go into in a moment as well. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, people. We are getting there. Brentford 2, West Ham 0. Again, another two sides, which I believe are safe. Brentford, obviously, doing brilliantly this season. Again, another club in the top 10. Second season in the Premier League, and they've got two top 10 finishes. I mean, really, really well done to them. They ran out 2-0 winners against a West Ham side who pretty much is focused on Europe all season. West Ham, I think, are a point away from safety. They won't be dragged into no relegation dogfight. They'll have enough about them. I do, however, see them being picked off by Leeds this weekend because of the hangover of Europa League. It depends how David Moyes decides to play it. Depends on the squad he puts out, because I know he was resting a few sort of last week, and this is the reason why they lost 2-0. I've got a feeling he's going to do the same thing again against Leeds this weekend. But again, something else we will look to talk about. Arsenal versus Brighton. That was from the Emirates Stadium. I'll give you 5 seconds just to gather your thoughts. See if you remember what happened last week. 3-0. 3-0 to Brighton. Brighton went there and absolutely battered them, man. Battered them. And it's all deserved. They deserved every single bit of that beating. And I'm so glad it was Brighton that came and did that to them. De Zerbi deserved it. Brighton were just on another level to what Arsenal were trying to do. They were quicker to the ball. Brighton's transitions all seasons have been excellent. They've been so good. Like, from defence through to the midfield, that's my favourite part of where Brighton do their most damage in the midfield, because they're so quick with it. They've got so many different weapons, left or right. I mean, it flows so natural. And then up top, they've got, the legs to do it. Not talking about Danny Welbeck. No. Enciso, yes. Ferguson, yes. Matoma, yes. they've got a good blend, and I think Brighton will obviously get better next season. They will obviously need to sign a striker. Undav is okay, but I think they need a little bit more, and I don't think he's enough. But Arsenal's title challenge, sorry, they'll say they were only in it for the top four. You were in a title challenge and you bottled it, yeah? Whether it's 93%, 95% of the season you were at the top of the league table, you bottled it, yeah? And that's all it is. You bottled it. Simple as that. You were coming to us saying that we bottled being what? Sorry, third in a 2-horse race. Well, you guys are second in a 1-horse race. Because I'm pretty certain you were ahead 8 points, 11 points, something in the lines of this season, and still end up getting peppered. So shut your mouths. I hope you let that sizzle in your spirit. Let that whole fan base. You're so annoying. That whole fan base is so annoying. I'm glad you got peppered up. Yeah? No league title for you, so shut your mouths. And last but not least, Leicester versus Liverpool. That was on the Monday Night Football. Leicester City are in trouble. They are in trouble. And I don't see where their next set of points are coming from. Liverpool looked awesome. Liverpool are fighting for the top four again, and they might get it. They're in better form at the moment than Man United are. Man United are carrying injuries as well, so that's going to go down to the wire. Leicester are doomed, and much like Southampton, going to lose a lot of key players. So James Maddison is the obvious one. Yuri Tielemans, whether Jamie Vardy decides to leave is another story. I'm trying to think. Johnny Evans is still there, I believe, and Harvey Barnes. That's a big one. Yeah, they've got a few players as well that can be sort of nicked if they don't back up their ideas. But the whole mentality of Leicester at the moment this season has been shocking. Like the whole mentality around the club, even with Brendan Rodgers there, they haven't looked like they were going to win every game that they go into. Usually when you look at Leicester, you think, good, fast, attractive football, they'll grind out results. Defensively, they've been an absolute joke. And they're 19th in the league, and it shows. Again, I don't see where they're getting their points from. They need at least 3 points to have any say in staying up at the moment. And at the moment, I can't see where that's coming from. There was another game on Thursday. That was Newcastle versus Brighton from St James's Park. Newcastle, obviously, very close to Champions League football now. Pretty much, I think that they've got it now, to be honest. I don't think they're coming out of that top 3 spot. The 4th spot will be out of Liverpool and Man United, obviously. 4-1 against Brighton. Very, very good performance from Newcastle. Callum Wilson on the score sheet. Brighton, they're weird. They're a bit of a weird one. Very, very good, as I've stated before, but last sort of 6 games, they've been in and out, sort of 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1. That's kind of how they're going at the moment, kind of meandering between the two. But doing what they do, because Brighton do play good, attractive football, but obviously there is an antidote for that, and Newcastle found it and just peppered them up. Newcastle looked excellent, and Eddie Howe, I personally believe, should get manager of the season because I think he's done an excellent job there. It'll probably go to Guardiola, but I think Eddie Howe deserves to win the Manager of the Year award because Newcastle were in the doldrums before he came. And he hasn't even spent the money that obviously Newcastle have at their disposal at the moment. He's just signed very, very good players, and they've done it for him. It's a very good result for Newcastle, maintaining their Champions League surge. Brighton will calmly finish in the top 10, top 8 even. I think they're currently 6th at the moment, so they could actually finish in the Europa League places if they really wanted to, if they pushed on from this moment. So we'll go to the predictions of this weekend's games. Obviously, I said Tottenham, Brentford are up first. The lineups have come out as well. I'll go with the Spurs win. I think Tottenham will win it 2-1. Brentford are without Ivan Toney. I know in Birmingham and Mavissa will be, chomping at the bit to obviously try to get on the score sheet. But at home, Spurs are actually quite decent and have been in the last few games. And I think they will do enough. I'm going with a 2-1 Spurs win. Liverpool versus Aston Villa. That is from Anfield. It's a tough one to call, this one. Aston Villa are very, very useful, but Liverpool are in the form of their life at the moment and want that Champions League 4th spot. And I'm going to go with a Liverpool 3-0 win on this. Wolverhampton versus Everton. That is live from Molineux. I will go with a Wolverhampton 2-1 win. Wolverhampton don't have anything to play for. Everton obviously still down in the mire, but I can't see Everton going to Wolverhampton, turning them over. Wolves have been excellent at home these past few weeks, and I'll go with a 2-1 Wolverhampton win today. Bournemouth versus Man United is another tough one. Man United actually like going to Bournemouth. I did actually say in one of my bets that I thought this would be a draw, sort of a 1-1, 2-2 draw. Bournemouth effectively have nothing to play for. Man United obviously are still chasing the Champions League places, so based on that, I'll probably go with Man United 2-1 win. But I would not be surprised if Bournemouth came and turned them over or nicked a draw. Would have surprised me the slightest. Bournemouth have actually been excellent at home this season, unexpectedly, because they were one of my favourites to go down at the start of the season. Fulham versus Crystal Palace. That is from Craven Cottage. Again, two other sides that have nothing to play for. Both had really, really decent seasons. Mitrovic being back is obviously massive. He scored last week, and I see him on the score sheet again. I'm going to go with a Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 1 type game. That's another 3 points for Fulham for me. Late kickoff tonight is from the City Ground. That's Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal. And as I've stated before, Nottingham Forest have more to lose than Arsenal do. Arsenal have already lost the league. We know they're not winning it. Nottingham Forest need to preserve their Premier League status, and I think Nottingham Forest win that today. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win Nottingham Forest. A lot of Arsenal fans will probably be like, oh no, we're going to go there, we're going to turn them over. It's not that easy. Nottingham Forest at home this season have been very, very good. I know they concede a lot of goals, but they do score a lot of goals as well. Under the lights as well. Under the light games in the night, I don't know what it is about those types of games, but the home teams tend to step it up a little bit. They seem like they're quicker and then they're more up for it. I don't know what it is, but I don't see Arsenal turning Forest over here. I do see a Nottingham Forest 2-1 win. Tomorrow, Super Sunday, obviously, we've got West Ham United versus Leeds United. As stated before, West Ham will probably rest a few players because they do have a Europa League, Conference League final around the corner against Fiorentina. So I do see them resting a few players. So I do see Leeds going there and nicking a result. I'm going to say 1-1. I'll sit on the fence on this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Leeds United 2-1 win under Sam Allardyce, obviously going back to his former club as well. So he might have a little bit to prove there too. Brighton versus Southampton's a formality for me. That's from the Amex. I think Brighton are going to win that 3-0 and bounce back from that 4-1 beating that Newcastle just gave them. Southampton already down, so there's not really much more that they need to play for at the moment. Not even Pride. So I do see that one being a 3-4-0 game to Brighton. The big one is Manchester City versus Chelsea. Obviously, I think Manchester City are being crowned champions this weekend. Chelsea have nothing for Manchester City. I do see Man City running straight through them, and I do see Haaland celebrating in style. I'm going to go with a Haaland brace. I'm going to go with a Manchester City 4-0 win, and Chelsea are just going to die. They're going to die at the Etihad later on this weekend. And then the last game is on Monday Night Football. We go back to St James's Park. That is Newcastle versus Leicester. Leicester need to pick up a point at least at Newcastle to have any chance of survival. I think if Leicester lose this on Monday, I think they're done. They are gone, like for definite. They're kind of teetering at the moment. They're on the knife edge at the minute, but Newcastle at the moment are in the form of their life, and they're going to want to get a third wrapped up pretty much. I don't see much happening for Leicester in that game. I am going to go with a Newcastle 3, Leicester 1 type result. So that's me for the weekend. I'm about to go and watch my beloved Spurs go pepper up Brentford from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I've made my bets already with regards to that. But I'll do another video next week, potentially on the Saturday, because I think the last games of the season are on Sundays, aren't they? I believe. Yes, they are. So I'll probably do it on a Saturday. Won't do it on a Friday. But do try to enjoy your weekend. Remember, it's a bank holiday next week, Monday, I think it is, which is the 28th, 29th. But yeah, I look forward to doing another video, and I look forward to speaking to you when the coronation is about to take place in Manchester City. And we'll get to laugh at Arsenal some more. But until then, enjoy your weekend, and I'll speak to you later.